When overnight nurse Clara Hemsworth clocked in for her 11 p.m. shift at St. Augustine Memorial Hospital, nothing felt unusual. She joked with security at the door. She grabbed her coffee, extra cream, no sugar. She walked the quiet hallway she'd walked for the last 11 years. But sometime between 3:10 a.m. and 3:26 a.m., Clara vanished. No security footage. No witnesses. No signs of struggle. Just an empty nurse's station, and a patient chart left open as if she'd been interrupted mid-sentence. Her disappearance would paralyze the hospital and consume investigators for months. But the most disturbing detail wouldn't be discovered until later, when detectives realized she disappeared seconds after entering room 214, a room assigned to a patient who wasn't supposed to exist. A patient registered under a name no one could trace. A patient who had checked in just 40 minutes before Clara vanished. Name on the chart, David Rowan. But no one ever saw him enter the hospital. And after Clara vanished, he was never seen again. The night had started normally. St. Augustine Memorial, a mid-sized city hospital known more for budget cuts than mysteries, was unusually calm. Cardiac wing quiet, care manageable, pediatrics silent, ICU stable. Clara liked nights like this. Fewer alarms, fewer cries, fewer people dying. She rotated between the telemetry ward and post-operative recovery. Around 2:58 a.m. she took her break, 12 minutes, the exact amount HR allowed. When she returned, she found a new chart on her station with a post-it. New admittance, room 214, needs vitals. Dr. Rhodes. Unusual. Middle of the night, no emergency rush, no prior call. But not impossible. She flipped through the chart. Mel. 42. Arrived through private check-in. Symptoms, extreme fatigue, chest discomfort, disorientation. Monitoring, standard, non-critical. But Clara froze at the last line. Patient requests only nurse Clara Hemsworth. She read it again. Requested her? At 3 a.m.? By name? Her stomach tightened. She didn't like being singled out, not in a hospital where people sometimes attach themselves to nurses. It wasn't unheard of, but this felt different. Still, she pushed her discomfort aside. Patients were vulnerable. Fear made people strange. She grabbed her nurse's binder and extra blood pressure cuff, 2 saline flushes, and started walking toward room 214. She didn't know that was the last time any camera would capture her alive. The hallway to room 214 was dim, broken fluorescent lights flickered overhead. Maintenance had been promising to fix them for months. Clara swiped her badge to confirm access. Beep. The door unlocked. She entered quietly. But the room was wrong. It was too dark. The blinds were fully shut. The monitor wasn't turned on. The bed was positioned slightly off-center, something no nurse would allow because it made hooking 4 lines difficult. Mr. Rowan? Are you awake? She whispered. Silence. She stepped inside fully and closed the door behind her, letting her eyes adjust. A figure sat on the far edge of the bed, hands resting neatly in his lap, head lowered as if in thought. Clara exhaled. Sir? I'm Nurse Clara. I just need to take your vitals. No response. She moved closer. Mr. Rowan? And then, as if awakened from a trance, the man slowly lifted his head. His face was pale, eyes sunken but alert, expression unreadable. You're late, he said softly. Clara blinked. I'm sorry. We're short-staffed tonight. That's not why you're late. His voice was calm. Too calm. You hesitated. Clara's pulse picked up. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Sir, I'm going to take your blood pressure now, okay? He didn't move. He only tilted his head slightly, studying her like she was the patient, not him. You don't remember me, do you? He asked. That stopped her cold. What? We met before, he said. 11 years ago. The night no one wants to talk about. Her grip tightened on the blood pressure cuff. She had no idea what he was talking about. But he did. His next words made her knees weaken. You were the last person to see my sister alive. At 3:10 a.m., a motion-activated hallway camera recorded Clara entering room 214. At 3:26 a.m., the same camera showed the door still shut. At 3:27 a.m., Dr. Rhodes paged Clara for assistance. She didn't answer. At 3:33 a.m., a code blue alarm triggered on the opposite side of the hospital. Clara was listed as unreachable. Still not alarming. Nurses got busy. Calls got missed. At 4:02 a.m., another nurse tried to relieve Clara for rounds. She wasn't at her station. Her coffee was still warm. Her phone sat charger connected. Her badge rested in its tray. But room 214 was dark. Empty. Bed unslept in. Monitor unplugged. Chart missing. And David Rowan, gone. There was no record of a private check-in. No matching patient name in the system. No witness who saw a 42-year-old male arrive. Room 214 wasn't even listed for new admissions that night. It had been marked closed for maintenance. No one should have been assigned there. No one should have been inside. But Clara walked into that room. And she never walked out. Detectives later uncovered something Clara never told co-workers. 11 years earlier, she treated two siblings after a car accident. A brother and his younger sister, 16-year-old Lena Rowan. Lena died on Clara's shift. The brother survived. The hospital filed it as unavoidable trauma complications. But the brother had blamed the staff, especially Clara, for not acting fast enough. He filed a complaint the hospital quietly buried. His name, David Rowan. Authorities now believe he returned. And that room 214 was never meant to heal him. It was meant to trap her. When detectives enhanced the final footage from the hallway camera, the one showing Clara entering room 214, they noticed something they missed the first time. A second figure, standing just behind the door, waiting for her. Investigation begins, emotional flashbacks, a creeping suspense. Detective Miriam Cade never liked hospital cases. Too many witnesses, too many schedules, too many beeping machines that made her feel like time was running out. But this one was different. This one felt wrong the moment she stepped into the fluorescent-lit corridor outside room 214. The air was cold. Not hospital cold, wrong cold. Like a place where something happened that shouldn't have. She ducked under yellow tape and entered the room. The bed was untouched. Curtains still closed. No scent of antiseptic or sleep. Just emptiness. A void. The kind that made her skin rise in gooseflesh. "Where's the chart?" she asked the attending nurse. "Gone," the woman whispered. "We checked everywhere." "And the patient?" "We're not sure he ever existed." At 6:22 a.m., Cade sat in the cramped security office reviewing the hallway recordings. At first, everything looked normal. Clara walking down the hall, shoulders a little tense, tired but steady. Then she entered room 214. Door shut. Nothing. No other staff entering. No movement. But something bothered Cade. "Rewind," she said. The guard complied. Again. Slower. They played the scene frame by frame. Clara walks toward the door. Her hand reaches for the handle. She pushes it open. And then, a shape, a silhouette, a shoulder. Someone inside the room standing just behind the doorway. Only visible for one frame, a flicker, as the door swept open. "Enhance," Cade said. "We did. That's as clear as it gets." The figure was tall. Still waiting. He didn't show up on any camera entering the hallway. He didn't appear leaving either. But he was there. And Clara wasn't anymore. Cade scanned Clara's HR file next. Impeccable record. Dozens of patient commendations. No disciplinary actions. Except one. A complaint from 11 years ago. Signed by David Rowan. She read the scanned sheet. "I believe the nursing staff, specifically Nurse Clara, failed my sister. She was conscious when I last saw her. She was talking. And then she wasn't. Someone needs to answer for that." Filed. Acknowledged. Dismissed. Closed. But his words lingered. People don't always forget what they've written. Especially when grief sharpens into obsession. "What happened to the sister?" Cade asked the records clerk. "Car crash. Multiple internal injuries. She coded twice. Didn't respond to surgery." "And David?" The clerk shook his head. "After the complaint was dismissed, he never contacted us again." Cade leaned back. "Until now," she murmured. Detectives interviewed Clara's co-workers. Most said the same thing. Clara was kind. Clara was gentle. Clara listened too much and spoke too little. But one nurse, Sherry, hesitated before answering. "There was one story Clara told me once," she said. "We were talking about patients you can't forget." Cade leaned forward. "What did she say?" "She said she had one case that stuck with her. A pair of siblings from years back. The girl wouldn't stop screaming for her brother. And the brother refused to leave the hallway." "Did she say their names?" "Just that the brother looked at her like she stole something from him." A chill slid down Cade's spine. "Did Clara say she felt responsible?" Sherry nodded softly. "More than she should have." Around noon, Cade received a call from forensics. "We need you in the conference room. You're going to want to see this." On the table were 5 printed stills from the security footage. One of Clara walking toward the room. One of her opening the door. One of the silhouette inside. But the tech pointed to a 6th image. This is from earlier, before Clara's shift started. You see anyone in the hallway? Cade scanned it. Empty. Nothing unusual. No, she said. Exactly, the tech replied. Except look here. He pointed to the far corner, a reflection in the metal frame of a storage cabinet door. A face. Blurred. Eyes staring toward the camera. Expression blank. Could be a pareidolia effect, the tech said. But it looks like him, Cade whispered. The same pale face. The same sunken eyes. The same stare Clara described in her notes. Except this photo was captured 2 hours before the patient was supposedly checked in, and 5 hours before Clara disappeared. At 3:10 p.m., officers searched Clara's locker. Inside they found a half-eaten protein bar, extra scrubs, a holiday photo with coworkers, and one manila envelope labeled, "If anything happens to me, read this." Cade's chest tightened. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Clara's handwriting. Shaky. Uneven. Terrified. I saw him again. I swear it. He's been watching me for weeks. I don't know how he found me. I don't know what he wants. But I think he blames me for his sister. If anything happens to me, it's because he came back. The room fell silent. Then Cade said the words everyone was thinking. He wasn't a random patient. He came for her. That night, detectives ran the hospital badge logs one more time. One ID number appeared at room 214 shortly before Clara arrived. But the badge was deactivated 11 years ago. Belonged to a former patient escort. A man who disappeared the same year Lena Rowan died. Name on the old badge. David Rowan. But the photo didn't match the man in the footage. Which meant only one thing. Someone else was using his identity. Someone who knew the hospital. Someone who knew how to hide. And someone who wasn't done yet. Detective Miriam Cade didn't sleep that night. Cases like this didn't let you. She sat alone in her office long after the building emptied, reviewing the same documents again and again. David Rowan's old complaint, the security stills, Clara's terrified handwritten message. Pieces of a puzzle scattered but undeniably connected. One question kept circling back. Why now? Why would a man wait 11 years to come after a nurse? And how did he get inside a hospital with no recorded entry? At 8:42 a.m., Cade's phone buzzed. Detective, this is Records. You asked us to digitize the old Rowan file? You'll want to see what we found. She rushed down, badge swinging, heart pounding faster than she liked. The records clerk handed her a thin gray folder. This wasn't supposed to be here, he said. It was misfiled in a box from the early 2000s. But this changes things. Cade opened it. Inside were visitor logs from the night Lena Rowan died. David Rowan had checked in at 11:14 p.m. He left at 12:02 a.m. Nothing strange. Except 2 entries below his name was another visitor. Same last name. Rowan. But not a family member. A man listed as Rowan Elliott, cousin. Elliott Rowan. A name Cade had never seen mentioned in any interview or statement. No one ever brought him up. No one ever confirmed his presence that night. But there it was, clear as ink. On the same floor. Minutes apart. She scanned the page again. The signature was off. Too neat. Too straight. Like someone mimicking handwriting with precision. She whispered, "Who the hell is Elliott Rowan?" Cade found Nurse Patricia Hale, who worked the same surgical floor that night 11 years ago. Patricia shook her head at the memory. That family, they never left her side. Especially the brother. David? Cade asked. No, Patricia said. The other one. Cade froze. Describe him. Patricia looked around nervously. He was quiet. Watched everyone. Gave Clara this awful stare every time she walked past. We all assumed he was grieving. But, she paused. He unsettled the whole floor. Cade leaned in. What was his name? Patricia swallowed. I think, Elliott. Yes, Elliott. The confirmation hit Cade like a cold wave. Do you remember his face? I'll never forget it. Patricia shivered. He looked like someone who already knew how the night would end. At noon, one of the officers called Cade from the hospital loading bay. Detective, you're not going to believe this. She hurried outside. The officer pointed to an old storage closet the staff rarely used, mostly cleaning supplies and spare wheelchairs. We checked every room, he said, but this one had something. Inside, beneath a metal shelf, was a folded piece of paper. Yellowing, crumpled like someone crushed it in their fist before abandoning it. Kate opened it carefully. A patient intake sheet. Room number 214. Patient name: Elliot R. Age: unknown. Admission reason: unknown. Insurance: none. Listed arrival: handwritten, 1:07 a.m. Notes: under observation, no vitals taken. Staff assigned: Nurse Clara H. Then, at the very bottom, scrawled shakily across the page: do not leave him alone. Kate stared at the paper. This can't be real. It's dated last night, the officer whispered. Back inside the hospital, the head of security caught up with Kate. We recovered something else. He handed her a flash drive. Room 214 had an internal mic. It's old tech. We only use it when patients request monitoring due to seizures or sleep apnea. Who activated it? Kate asked. No one. It turned on by itself. Her pulse quickened. She plugged in the drive and hit play. Static. A hum. Then footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Clara's voice appeared, soft and uneasy. Sir? Are you awake? Silence. Then a male voice, low, hoarse, almost a whisper. Do you remember me? Clara inhaled sharply. Sir, how did you get this room? Another long pause. Then the man spoke again. You were there that night. Clara's voice cracked. Please don't do this. You let her die. That isn't true. You didn't listen. A loud scrape. A chair pushed violently across the floor. Claire, security is on the way. You need to sit down. The man's final whisper turned Kate's blood cold. They won't see me. Then a sharp gasp. Struggle. Something falling. And the recording cut. Kate sat frozen. The voice didn't match David Rowan's voice from old interviews. This man was older. Deeper. Colder. Elliot. Had to be. At 6:15 p.m., a forensic specialist called her back into room 214. Detective, he said, crouching over the tile, the floor markings tell a different story. What do you mean? He pointed to faint smudge lines, nearly invisible unless you knew where to look. These aren't random. They're foot scuffs. But look at the distance. The prints were too far apart. Huge strides. As if someone moved unnaturally fast or had an unusually long gait. And look here, he added, tapping the door frame. Skin oil residue. But no fingerprints. Kate frowned. You're saying he's removing his prints? No, the specialist said. He's not leaving any. That night, Kate returned to her car, exhausted, mind clouded with more questions than answers. As she opened the door, she noticed something wedged under her windshield wiper. A note. Handwritten. Shaky. Unsteady. Familiar. She unfolded it. 5 words. The same 5 words Clara herself wrote 24 hours before vanishing. He's watching you. Be careful. And at the bottom, a single initial. C. Claire. Meaning one horrifying thing. She was still alive. Somewhere. And he wanted Kate to know it. Detective Miriam Kate didn't drive home. She couldn't. Not after finding Clara's handwriting on her windshield. Handwriting that should have been impossible. Because according to every timestamp, every witness, and every piece of footage, Clara Bennett never made it out of room 214. But the note was real. Ink still fresh. Paper still warm from someone's hand. And the initial C wasn't the part that scared her. It was the smell. A faint trace of antiseptic. The same hospital-grade brand used in the East Wing. Clara was alive. Or someone wanted Kate to think she was. Either possibility was terrifying. Kate stormed into the hospital's security room. Pull every camera from the East Wing from midnight to 4 a.m., she ordered. The guard hesitated. Detective, you asked for those hours already. I know, Kate snapped. Do it again. The footage loaded. Hallway after hallway, empty. Silent. So, typical for a night shift. But then Kate noticed something strange. Every time the camera panned toward room 214, the feed glitched. Not static. Not blur. Not a software issue. It was a black silhouette that filled the frame for a fraction of a second. Tall. Thin. Human-shaped, but not human. The tech swallowed hard. That wasn't there earlier. It wasn't in your backup logs either? No, this is new. Kate leaned forward. The silhouette didn't walk into the frame. It didn't fade in. It materialized, as if the camera caught a shape passing through a place it shouldn't exist. She whispered, Elliot Rowan? But the tech corrected her. No, detective. Elliot Rowan died in 2009. Car accident. Out of state. Fingerprints confirmed. Kate froze. "Then who," she whispered, "is the man in room 214? Back in her office, she dug through the Rowan archive. The file on Lena Rowan's death was thin, too thin. But that wasn't the issue. The real problem was the autopsy. Lena's autopsy was missing. Completely. No photos. No notes. No official report. Just a single signature line that read, "Autopsy not required, cause of death obvious. Signed, C. Bennett." Cade's breath caught. Clara signed off on the autopsy. Which meant, Clara was the last person to examine Lena Rowan's body. Clara made the call that prevented an investigation. Clara may have been the only one who saw the truth. And the night she vanished, someone wanted to remind her of exactly that. At 3:12 a.m., unable to shake the feeling she was missing a piece, Cade returned to room 214. Alone. The lights flickered as she entered, the same glitch reported by the night nurse. She walked slowly around the room, studying everything. The overturned chair. The scuffed tiles. The peel in the wallpaper near the bed. The faint marks on the bed's metal frame. Then she saw it. A stain on the ceiling. Small. Dark. Circular. Not blood. Not mold. Burn marks. She leaned closer. No scorch pattern. No smoke damage. Just a perfect circle of burned material, as if something hot had been pressed into the ceiling. A symbol. A shape. A brand. And inside the circle she saw something carved. 214. She stumbled back. Someone burned the room number into the ceiling of the same room. Almost like a signature. Almost like a message. Almost like someone saying, "This is where it happened. This is where it will happen again." Her phone rang. A known number. She answered it before she could think. Cade. There was breathing. Slow. Steady. Deliberate. Mel. Then a whisper. "You should have left the room." Cade stiffened. "Where is she?" she demanded. Silence. Then, "Do you remember her face?" Cade's heart pounded. Whose face? The breathing stopped. Then the voice shifted, deeper, angrier, closer. "Lena Rowan." Cade's blood froze. Before she could respond, the line cut. 20 minutes later, she was interviewing a janitor from the East Wing who worked that same night. He was visibly shaking. "I didn't want to tell anyone," he stammered. "I thought I imagined it." "What did you see?" Cade asked. He looked down. "A man." "What man?" "I don't know. But he wasn't walking. He was." He cupped his hand and moved it through the air. Gliding. Like his feet weren't touching the ground. Cade leaned closer. "Where?" The janitor lifted a trembling finger and pointed directly at room 214. Cade left the hospital, mind reeling, body exhausted, but heart pounding with something new, fear. But when she reached her car, she saw something that made her stop cold. A smear. A handprint. Pressed against the driver's side window. Not blood. Not dirt. Not skin oil. And written beneath the handprint, smeared with the same ash. "You were there too." Detective Maren Hale didn't believe in ghosts. But as she stood alone on the dim fourth-floor corridor of St. Francis Memorial Hospital, the floor where Nurse Elena Ward vanished without a trace, she had to admit the silence felt wrong. Hospitals were never silent. Not truly. There were always carts rolling, alarms beeping, someone coughing, someone crying, someone living. But this floor? This one breathed like a sleeping creature. And Maren didn't like the rhythm. She reached for the door to room 417, Elena's last assigned room, and paused when the faintest cold draft brushed across the back of her neck. A draft, even though there were no open windows. Her partner, Detective Ryan Locke, appeared behind her carrying 2 coffees he clearly didn't expect to drink. "You feel that?" Maren asked. Ryan nodded. "Yeah. Vent system maybe?" "Maybe." But she didn't believe that. The hospital's maintenance report showed the ventilation on this floor hadn't been updated since 2003. No air movement strong enough to make the temperature drop. Still, she forced herself to push open the door. The patient's room, empty, but not. Room 417 was dark. Too dark for an active patient room. Maren clicked the light switch. Nothing. Ryan tried another. Breaker must have tripped. Maren lifted her flashlight and swept the beam across the room. The bed was stripped bare. The chairs were stacked. Electrodes for an ECG lay unused on the counter. Everything was empty. Sterile. Wrong. "This room hasn't been used in weeks," Ryan said. But Elena was assigned to it the night she disappeared. According to the logs, he corrected quietly. But according to the hospital's digital file, he handed Maren a tablet. Room 417's digital entry was corrupted. No patient name, no medication schedule, no admission notes, just a single red error message. Access restricted, authorization overridden. What does that mean? Marin whispered. That someone with admin-level access hid the records, Ryan said. Someone who didn't want anyone to see who she was caring for. Marin's beam stopped on something small and pale tucked between the bed and wall. A hair tie. Frayed. Stretched out. Her sister said Elena wore these every day, Marin murmured, crouching to pick it up. Her stomach tightened. This was the first physical trace of Elena Ward found anywhere. She didn't leave, Marin said quietly. She was taken. Ryan exhaled sharply. Taken by who? And why hide the patient? But Marin wasn't listening, because that cold wind brushed her skin again. This time it was stronger. More deliberate. Like someone exhaling inches from her ear. She turned sharply. The flashlight beam landed on something she swore hadn't been there seconds ago. A faint handprint. On the inside of the window. Small. Too small to belong to an adult. But smeared with something darker. Thicker. A brownish-maroon stain. Blood? Ryan asked. Old blood, Marin whispered. Her skin prickled. Because the print was facing inward, as if whoever left it was inside the hospital room looking out, not trying to escape. And then she saw it. Carved faintly into the metal bed frame. Like fingernails scraped by someone desperate. Don't let him in. Ryan leaned closer. Don't let who in? Marin straightened, breath tight. Elena wrote this, she said finally. She knew something was coming. But the real shock came when Ryan checked the timestamp on the last recorded movement on this floor's security camera. It wasn't from the night Elena disappeared. It was from 2 nights later. And it wasn't Elena. It was someone much smaller moving rapidly down the corridor, a barefoot child, wearing a hospital gown, and holding Elena Ward's keycard in her hand. Marin froze. There are no pediatric patients on this floor. None. There aren't supposed to be, Ryan whispered. The timestamp flickered again. Suddenly the child's small blurred figure turned, and for one split second, as if sensing the camera, she looked directly into the lens. Her eyes sunken, her face gaunt, her expression not frightened, but furious. And behind her small shape, a shadow stretched, tall, bent, wrong, like a man whose body didn't understand the rules of bones anymore. The screen glitched, then went black. Ryan swallowed. What the hell was that? Marin didn't answer, because in the reflection of the blank monitor, she saw something move behind them in the dark hallway. Something tall, something wrong, something waiting. Detective Marin Hale had been inside hundreds of hospitals. None had ever felt like this. As she and Ryan hurried down the 4th floor corridor, away from the dark room, away from the shadow neither of them agreed they saw, Marin's breathing tightened. Not from fear, from clarity. Something about Elena Ward's disappearance wasn't accidental, wasn't random, wasn't human oversight. Something deliberate lived beneath this hospital's story, something that started 22 years ago, long before Elena's night shift. And the deeper they walked, the colder the air became. A room they weren't supposed to find. Maintenance records say there are 12 rooms on this floor, Ryan said, scrolling. 417 is marked active, 418 through 423 are marked cleared, 424 to 428 are storage. Marin stopped. Then what's this? She asked, pointing her flashlight to the end of the hallway. A door. Unnumbered, unlabeled, sealed with industrial bolts around the frame, the only door like it on the floor. Ryan blinked. That's not on the blueprint. Exactly. The cold draft they felt earlier was stronger here, pulling gently from under the door, like air was being dragged through a vacuum, or something, breathing on the other side. Marin moved forward. Ryan grabbed her arm. We should call backup. She shook him off. If this door hides the missing patient, we don't get answers by waiting. She gripped the metal handle. Surprisingly, it turned easily. The bolts were decorative, meant only to make the room look sealed. Someone wanted people to think it was locked, not keep it locked. She pushed. The door slid inward with a soft hydraulic hiss, and the smell hit them first. Bleach, rust, old fabric, and something else. Something sour like air trapped too long. Marin raised her flashlight. For a moment she forgot how to breathe. A pediatric room? Frozen in time. Inside was a child's hospital room. Walls pale blue. A small bed against the left wall. Stuffed toys arranged perfectly along a shelf. A mobile of little plastic stars hanging above the bed, unmoving despite the draft. The room was pristine, untouched, like someone had cleaned it meticulously every single day. Except for one thing. The bed was indented, as if a small body were still lying there. Ryan whispered, "This room shouldn't exist." "It existed," Marin said, "and someone kept it this way." She scanned the shelf. Children's books, finger paint drawings, a worn teddy bear with a missing eye, and behind that bear, a hospital wristband. Marin gently lifted it. The ink was faded, the plastic yellowed. The name printed on it sent a chill crawling up her spine. Patient, Lucy Evelyn Ward, DOB, 11/04. Admission, 22 years ago. Ward. Elena Ward's last name. Ryan saw it. "You don't think?" "Elena had no children," Marin said. Her sister said. She stopped, because on the nightstand beside the bed was a photograph. A young Elena Ward, wearing her early career nurse scrubs, holding a little girl with the same hazel eyes and curly dark hair. Lucy. Her daughter. Not in the system. Not in any family records. A daughter Elena had kept secret. Ryan's voice was tight. "Why hide her?" Marin answered quietly. "Maybe she wasn't supposed to be alive." The child in the hallway. A soft creak echoed behind them. Both detectives spun. At the doorway stood a small figure. Bare feet. Hospital gown. Broad eyes reflecting the flashlight beam like glass. Lucy. The same child from the security footage. She didn't run this time. She just stared at Marin. Marin swallowed. "Lucy? Is that your name?" No answer. Just a thin, soft whisper. "Mom didn't want him to find me." Ryan stepped closer. "Oh, who's trying to find you?" The girl pointed to the corner of the room. Slowly. Deliberately. Marin turned her flashlight toward the corner. Nothing. Just shadows. But something felt there. Watching. Waiting. Tall enough to scrape the ceiling. "I told her," Lucy whispered. "Don't let him in." Marin slowly lowered herself to eye level with the girl. "Honey, we need to know what happened the night your mom disappeared. Was she here with you?" Lucy's gaze drifted past her, toward the hallway behind them. And for the first time, Marin saw fear on the girl's face. "He followed her," Lucy said, voice cracking. "She tried to stop him." Ryan whispered, "Who?" The girl didn't blink as she answered. "The man with the broken face." The air in the room dropped. The mobile above the bed began to spin slowly, though no air blew. And from somewhere deep in the walls, a slow, dragging sound echoed. Footsteps. Heavy. Uneven. Growing closer. Ryan stepped in front of Lucy. "Marin." "I hear it," she whispered. The child grabbed Marin's sleeve, fingers ice cold. "If you open the door," Lucy said, "he'll be here." A sudden slam echoed down the hallway. The unnumbered door snapped shut, locking them inside. The footsteps stopped right outside. And then, a voice. Hoarse. Crooked. Like someone trying to speak through a shattered jaw. "Lucy, come home." Marin felt her blood freeze. Because she had heard that voice before. On the audio recording from Elena's final minutes. The last patient she treated. The patient with no records. No name. The man no one admitted existed. The voice outside the door wasn't human. It was the kind of sound a body makes when it shouldn't be alive. When bones don't align, when breath isn't normal, when the mouth moves in ways nature didn't intend. Marin froze. Ryan's hand drifted toward his holster. Lucy pressed herself against Marin's coat, trembling. The voice came again, closer now, almost pressed against the metal. "Lucy, I found you." The mobile above the hospital bed spun faster, each plastic star clicking as it twisted. The air pressure shifted, like the entire room inhaled. Marin leaned down to Lucy, whispering, "Tell me what he wants." Lucy didn't look at her. She didn't look at Ryan. She didn't even look toward the door. She stared straight ahead at the blank wall as she spoke. "He wants what was taken from him." Marin felt her throat tighten. "Taken? By who?" Lucy looked up, tears in her eyes. "By my mom." The door handle rattled violently. What? Twice. Then a scraping sound, metal against metal, like claws dragging across steel. Ryan whispered, "He's trying to unhinge the door." Marin pulled Lucy close and back toward the far wall. Her voice was low, urgent, controlled. "Lucy, listen carefully. We need to know who he is." Lucy blinked slowly, like remembering hurt her. "He lived here," she whispered. "A long time ago. Before the new floors. Before the new rules. The hospital had a long-term psychiatric ward. Ryan said softly. It was shut down in 2003. Lucy nodded. My mom used to work down there before they closed it. Marin felt the first full click of the puzzle. Elena knew him. Lucy nodded again, harder this time. She took care of him. When no one else would. Another slam rocked the door. Then a low dragging sound, like someone was running their fingers slowly down the metal. Ryan whispered, "He's moving toward the hinges." Lucy's voice dropped to a fragile whisper. He wasn't always like this. But when the power went out that winter, they left him alone. In the dark. Locked in his room. For hours. Marin felt cold creep up her back. "Lucy," she said gently, "what happened to his face?" The girl's lips trembled. "He broke it." Trying to scream for help. Marin swallowed. The dragging stopped. Silence. A silence so thick it felt soaked into the walls. Then a single knock. Slow. Intentional. Knock. 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 Marin flinched. Lucy whispered, "That's what he did when he wanted someone to open the door." Ryan stepped in front of them. "We need to move. Now." Marin scanned the room. One bed. One shelf. One nightstand. No windows. No vents large enough to crawl through. Then she noticed something. Behind the mobile, hidden by a layer of dust, a faint outline. Square. Perfectly measured. A panel. Ryan. He followed her gaze, then hurried over. They pushed the bed aside, revealing a concealed maintenance hatch. Ryan yanked the latch. The panel snapped open. Behind it, a narrow service corridor, pitch black and cold as a freezer. Lucy tugged Marin's sleeve. "That's the way Mom took me." Marin felt her stomach drop. "Elena planned to escape with you." Lucy nodded. But he was faster. The door behind them shuddered. Then, the top hinge snapped in half with a sickening metallic crack. They were out of time. "Go," Ryan said, ushering Lucy into the crawlspace. "Go now." Lucy climbed in. Marin followed. Ryan was halfway through when a massive, gray-skinned hand punched through the door where the hinges had been. The fingers bent backward unnaturally, joints twisted the wrong way, like a marionette pulled too hard. A voice roared through the breach. "Don't leave me again." Ryan dove in and slammed the panel shut behind them. The corridor went pitch black. Except for Lucy's trembling voice. "He remembers everything." The space was so tight they had to crawl. Pipes ran along the top, dripping condensation onto their backs. Lucy led the way, moving with unnatural familiarity. Marin whispered, "Lucy, how long were you in that room?" The girl didn't answer at first. When she did, her voice was tiny. "Until Mom said we had to run." Marin felt her chest twist. A child. Hidden for decades. Kept in a preserved room like a memory the world wasn't allowed to touch. Ryan whispered behind them, "We need to figure out where this leads." The girl turned her head slightly. "It leads to the old wing." "But," she hesitated. "He knows those hallways too." A distant crash echoed from behind the panel they'd sealed, metal collapsing under something impossibly strong. Then footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Pacing. As if smelling the walls. "He's tracking us," Ryan breathed. Lucy stopped crawling. "Don't speak," she whispered. "He hears through the pipes." They froze. The sound traveled through the metal beside them. A distorted breathing noise, slow and methodical, moving from one pipe to the next. Then, a whisper so close it vibrated through the corridor. "I can still see you, Lucy." The girl covered her ears. Marin squeezed her shoulder. "It's okay. We're here." Lucy shook her head violently. "No, you don't understand." Her eyes glimmered in the darkness. "He's not looking for me." Marin froze. "Then who?" Lucy answered with a trembling breath. "He's looking for the person who let him die." The pipes above them rattled violently, the sound moving faster, angrier, closer. Marin whispered, "Lucy, who let him die?" Lucy finally looked back, her face pale, her voice barely audible. "My mother." The pipes above them rattled again, harder this time, like something enormous was crawling through them, pushing metal to its limit. Ryan whispered, "We need to move. Now." But Lucy shook her head. "There's something you need to know before we go any further." Her voice wasn't scared now. It was resigned. As if this moment, this confession, had been waiting years to escape her small body. Marin placed a hand on the girl's back. "Lucy, whatever it is, you can tell us." The corridor vibrated, a deep, rumbling growl slithering through the pipes. He was listening. Lucy swallowed hard. "My mom didn't hide me because she was afraid he'd take me." A beat. She hid me because she was the reason he became that. Ryan exchanged a look with Marin in the dark. Lucy, are you saying Elena created him? Lucy nodded once. He wasn't a monster at first. He was a patient. A sad one. A lonely one. He used to draw pictures for Mom. Talk to her. Trust her. The pipes creaked, slow, groaning metal, as if the mention of this past stirred something alive inside them. Lucy's voice trembled. But then a winter storm hit and the generators failed. The old wing went dark. The doors locked automatically. Marin's stomach twisted. He was trapped inside. Lucy nodded. He screamed for hours, banged on the door until his bones broke. His face changed. The cold changed him. Ryan whispered, and Elena didn't open the door? Lucy wiped a tear on her sleeve. She tried, but the lock system jammed. By the time she got help, he wasn't the same anymore. The pipes above them groaned. Then, a single soft knock on the metal inches from Lucy's head. She stiffened. Ryan's hand flew to his gun, but what good would a gun do here? Marin cupped Lucy's cheek. Sweetheart, did he blame your mother? Lucy's lower lip quivered. He loved her, and she left him in the dark, alone. He thinks she abandoned him. A breath. And now that she's gone, he thinks I'm her. Marin froze. Ryan whispered, Jesus Christ. Lucy shook her head violently. No, he's not trying to kill me. The pipes vibrated with the sound of aching metal being bent, slowly, by something within human strength. Lucy whispered, he wants me to come back, to stay with him, forever, so he isn't alone in the dark again. Marin felt something cold move down her spine. Lucy, she whispered gently, he doesn't understand. He's not thinking clearly. The girl's voice broke. He understands enough to know we're leaving him. A sudden slam shook the corridor, a blow so violent dust poured from the ceiling and pipes rattled like bones. He's trying to break into the service shaft, Ryan hissed. Lucy's whisper was thinner now. He'll break it. He always breaks things when he's scared. Marin tried to keep her voice steady. Lucy, how do we stop him? How do we get out of here without him following? Lucy looked up at her with a kind of sad wisdom no child should ever have. You can't outrun him. Pause. But you can trick him. The pipes creaked again. Closer. Ryan whispered, tell us how. Lucy crawled forward slowly, tugging Marin and Ryan with her. We're going to the old psychiatric wing. Marin blinked in the dim light. Lucy, that's where he... Yes, the girl whispered. That's where he died. A chill spread through the corridor. Ryan hesitated. Why go there? Lucy looked back with wide, haunted eyes. Because that's the only place he remembers how to rest. Another slam, louder. Metal screamed as something tore at the adjoining pipes. Lucy's voice dropped to a whisper so soft Marin could barely hear it. If we want to survive, we have to take him back to the night he became a monster. The deeper they crawled through the tunnel, the colder it became. Not normal cold. A dead cold, like the air had memories. Lucy led them through a narrow service hatch and into an abandoned hallway sealed off decades ago. The tiles were cracked, streaked with old water damage. Faded murals of smiling nurses peeled from the walls. Marin felt her breath hitch. This was the psychiatric wing? Lucy nodded. It used to be alive. My mom said she loved this place more than any other part of the hospital. Ryan swept his flashlight across the hallway. It looked nothing like a place anyone could love. Wheelchairs rusted in corners. Ceiling tiles sagged. A faint smell of mildew clung to everything. But beneath it all, something else lingered. A hum. A vibration. Like the air itself remembered screaming. Lucy pointed to a door near the end of the hall. That room. That's where it happened. Marin felt her heart thud. The night he changed. Lucy nodded. Ryan stepped closer, shining his light on the metal door. Deep dents littered the surface, long finger-shaped dents. He whispered, those marks weren't made by tools. No, Lucy said. He made them. With his hands. After they froze. The pipes overhead creaked again, but this time it wasn't from the creature itself. This wing was reacting to them. Like it was waking up. Ryan tried the doorknob. Locked. Lucy whispered, you don't open it from the outside. Before Marin could ask what she meant, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then went out completely. The hallway plunged into darkness. A soft metallic tap echoed through the vents. Tap, tap, tap. Lucy grabbed Marin's arm. He's here. Ryan's breathing quickened, flashlight beam shaking. Where is he? I don't hear footsteps. Lucy's voice trembled. He doesn't use footsteps. The taps grew louder, crawling along the vent system overhead. Marin whispered, "He's in the pipes." Ryan pointed upward. "Why pipes? Why does he stay in them?" Lucy didn't look up. She didn't need to. "That's where he died. Trying to escape the cold. Trying to find my mother." A violent crash erupted somewhere behind them, metal slamming against metal. Ryan hissed, "We have to move." Lucy shook her head. "No, he'll follow the sound. He always follows fear." Marin knelt beside Lucy. "Tell me what we do." Lucy closed her eyes. Mom used to talk to him through the door. Every night, before he changed, she'd sit here and read to him. Tell him stories. Tell him he wasn't alone. The girl swallowed hard. "He remembers her voice." Ryan frowned. "Lucy, your mother is gone." "I know," the girl whispered, her lip trembling. "But I sound like her." Marin felt her chest tighten. "Lucy, you want him to come here?" The girl nodded. "He needs to come back to this room. It's the only place where he listens. The only place he calms down." Ryan stared in disbelief. "You want to lure him into the room that started all this?" Lucy turned to Marin, voice breaking. "He's not trying to kill us. He's trying to bring me home. If we don't lead him back, he'll tear apart this hospital until he finds me." Marin felt a shiver crawl down her spine. "And once he does?" Lucy looked down. "He won't let me leave." The taps in the vents stopped. Silence, thick, suffocating silence, settled over the hallway. Then, a whisper. A real human whisper. Only one word. "Elena." Marin froze. The creature spoke. In a cracked, hollow, frost-burned voice that sounded like it had been dragged across ice. Lucy began trembling uncontrollably. "He thinks I'm her." Marin wrapped her arms around the girl. "It's okay. We're here. We're going to fix this." Ryan stepped closer to the dented door. "Lucy, what happens when he enters this room?" Lucy sniffed, wiping her face. "He remembers. He pauses. He cries." Then she said something even more chilling. "And when he cries, he becomes almost human again." A metal clang echoed from the far end of the hallway, followed by a shape crawling out of the vent. Long fingers first, hands frostbitten black, elbows bending at impossible angles. Then the face, gaunt, ice-burned, eyes too wide, pupils dilated to shadows. He stared straight at Lucy. "Elena?" Lucy stepped forward, tears streaming down her cheeks. "No," she whispered. "I'm Lucy, her daughter." The creature stilled, frozen. A sound escaped him, a broken, trembling gasp. "Elena had a child?" Marin's heart felt like it was cracking. Lucy nodded. "And she didn't abandon you. She tried to save you." The creature's jaw quivered. "No, she left me in the dark." Lucy's voice softened. "She didn't leave you. She cried for you. Every night." The creature lowered his head, as if remembering, as if breaking. Ryan whispered, barely audible, "Lucy, now. Lead him to the room." The girl took a brave, trembling step back toward the dented door. "This way," she whispered gently. "We're going back. Back to where the light was." The creature followed, slowly, cautiously, like a wounded animal recognizing an old comfort. Closer, closer. Marin felt tears sting her eyes. Ryan gripped his flashlight like a weapon. Lucy touched the door. It clicked, unlocking softly from the inside. She stepped into the room. The creature followed her. And for a moment, he looked almost peaceful, almost human. But Marin noticed something wrong. Lucy hadn't stepped back out. She was still inside. And she whispered, "I'm sorry." Before Ryan could react, the door slammed shut. The metal door slammed shut so violently that dust rained from the ceiling. Ryan lunged forward, pounding his fists against it. Lucy, open the door." Marin grabbed his arm. "Ryan, stop, listen." Inside the room, silence. Then, a soft, muffled voice. Lucy's voice. "It's okay. I can calm him down. But you have to leave." Ryan froze. No, I am not leaving you in there with that thing." The creature's voice followed, the same cracked whisper, but breaking apart into something raw and human. "Lucy, you came back." A low sob, the sound almost grateful. Lucy whispered through the door. "He won't hurt me. He never wanted to hurt anyone. He just wanted my mother." Marin pressed her forehead to the cold metal. "Lucy, please, let us help you." A long pause. Then Lucy said something that ripped through Marin's chest. "You can't help me. You can only save everyone else. Ryan's voice cracked. Lucy, whatever you're thinking, don't. But Lucy kept going, calm and resolute. Mom told me once, some people can't be healed. Only guided somewhere peaceful. That's what I'm doing. A slow scraping sound echoed inside the room. Not violent, not frantic, just shifting, settling. The creature spoke again, confused. Where are you leading me? Lucy's answer was heartbreaking. Home. Marin felt her throat tighten. Lucy, please don't do this. But the girl's voice was steady now, quiet, brave, accepting. It has to be me. If he sees anyone else, he'll panic. He'll run. He'll kill again. The creature whimpered softly, a sound almost childlike. Lucy breathed. It's okay. Come sit. A long pause. Then the metal door shook gently, not from violence but from weight. Two shapes sitting on the floor. Marin felt the world spinning. This wasn't a trap. It was a goodbye. Ryan slammed his fist against the door, breaking down. Lucy, please, we can find another way. Lucy whispered. Ryan, thank you for trying to protect me. But I'm protecting you now. Click. The faint metallic sound of a switch. Marin's eyes widened. The cold? She whispered. Lucy, no. The room on the other side of the door was the original cryogenic testing chamber. Decades ago, it was designed to lower temperatures so fast it caused hypothermic seizures in minutes. Lucy had just turned it back on. Alarms began to buzz weakly through the old wiring, lights flickering red. Ryan choked out. Lucy, turn it off. Please. But her voice came soft and distant now, like she was drifting into sleep. He's not a monster. He's just cold. So cold. The creature whimpered, panic rising. No, too cold, too cold. Lucy soothed him. It's okay. I'm here. Marin sobbed, unable to stand. Lucy, sweetheart, please? Lucy whispered her last words. Tell them. Mom didn't run away. She ran toward him. And then, a long exhale. One final rattled breath. The alarm slowed. The room fell silent. Ryan collapsed to his knees. Marin pressed her hand to the door as if she could hold Lucy through it. The air on the other side had turned still. Frozen. Peaceful. After a long, agonizing moment, the emergency lock released automatically. The door opened. Inside, the creature lay curled beside Lucy, head resting on her shoulder, his frostbitten face somehow soft, unguarded, almost human again. And Lucy, eyes closed, peaceful, arms still loosely around him. Two souls frozen in the same final moment. One seeking warmth, one offering it. Ryan couldn't look. Marin couldn't breathe. The hospital felt different now, as if a storm had finally stopped. Lucy had ended it, by giving the creature the one thing he had been searching for since the night he died. Someone who didn't run. The old wing was sealed permanently. The creature's remains were buried in an unmarked grave near the woods. Lucy's grave sat beside her mother's. Simple flowers, simple stone. Lucy Elena Hayes' beloved daughter, braver than the world ever knew. Ryan visited every week. Marin visited every Sunday. And sometimes, late at night when the hospital was quiet, Marin thought she heard a soft tapping in the vents. Never violent, never hunting, just a reminder. Not all monsters want to kill. Some just want someone to come back for them. And for one brief moment, Lucy did.